might seem whatever, but it is what it is, guys. I can't sleep right this second, so I decided to do some more work. I figured out my computer problem, I think, from earlier. I think what's going on is it overheats, and when it overheats, the camera shuts down. Now, I wouldn't think that the camera would be such a big draw on the graphics card, but quite possibly it really is. So now I have a cooling pad that it's on. Unfortunately, the USB A to USB A that is required to power it, I have lost. So I had to order some. Hopefully they'll be here soon. And so I'm getting ready to glue this big Emperor Scorpion to a base. I've got some bases coming, and I've decided I looked up a lot of art on how to paint up Zargon, and I think I'm going to paint him uh, like a pretty almost like a slimy green color is what I'm thinking. What's up, Daniel Barry? How you doing, man? So I saw it where he's kind of a brown color, and then there's another bit of art where he's like a real slimy green. And I kind of dig the slimy green. So that means he's going to start out with a very, very dark green. And I'm slowly going to dry brush him up to I get him to the right kind of uh, slimy green that I'm looking for. Of course, he's going to have a black horn and a red eyeball because that is something that's common in every description of him is the red eye, the black horn. So, yeah. All right, what am I doing? I am going over my crawdad, who was originally more brown, and now I'd highlighted him some green, and now I'm going over him lightly with a little Caribbean blue green. You know, just to make him look interesting. For those of you out there that have aquariums, you know that you can actually buy blue crawfish, right? To put in your aquariums. But the big secret of the blue crawfish is this: they're just normal crawfish, and the only reason they're blue is their diet. You know, if you feed them certain foods with certain minerals or whatever in them, their shells will turn like a bright blue. And then people will pay like a lot of money for that. Problem is, once you take him home, if you don't know enough to keep feeding them the right diet, they will eventually, if they live long enough to molt, they will eventually just turn back to whatever, that kind of mud brown color. But this guy right here, see, one thing I like to do with these speed paints or contrast paints is I like to um, water them down and kind of use them as washes. They work really good for that, right? So I've got a big bottle of medium here. And when I'm in the mood to use them as, a wash, I just hit them with my Liquitex medium. So now we've got kind of this going on. And the water looks all muddy, and I'll have to do the bank. How you doing, Cyborg? What is up, man? Now, of all those scorpions I bought, these guys came with flat legs, which makes them a little bit hard to base, but I'm going to do it. Luckily, I have a bunch of these clips, so put a little glue down, clipper down, bass, hello, can you go? Yeah. Public Enemy. It's a pretty cool song, but except when you talk shit about Elvis, because it's like, shut up. Elvis was a hero to most, but he didn't mean shit to me. It's like, shut up, Chuck D. No one gives a shit what you think about Elvis. As a matter of fact, musicians who make fun of Elvis, to me, come off as just being envious bastards. Like it's become cool to hate on Elvis, but it's like they know that they're nowhere like even in his league. So it's like, yeah, you can hate on Elvis all you want, but you, me, the tree, the fence post, the old lady across the street, we all know you're just jealous because you ain't Elvis and you will never be Elvis. So, even Eminem took a shot. Little kids feeling rebellious, embarrassed that their moms still listen to Elvis. Is like, really? As opposed to what? As opposed to what, M? I mean, I respect you as a rapper, but not a huge fan of some of your personal opinions. They come off as kind of stupid. So, those of you who haven't figured it out yet, I guess what I'm trying to say is I like Elvis. He's got some great songs. Blue Moon of Kentucky, Cold Kentucky Rain, my brother's favorite, In the Ghetto. Whereas I like Suspicious Minds a lot. I mean, not saying he was a perfect human being or a saint, but the dude could sing, and anyone who says otherwise is just lying. Just lying to themselves and anyone else. So these need to go down here. We can't go on together. I got this box today. I meant to open it up and never did. And this thing come in early this morning. With suspicious mind. See, here's the thing I wonder, right? Elvis died 50 years ago, about. And they're still putting his music in songs and stuff. The people who make fun of Elvis, I wonder if they will have their songs put in movies and commercials and stuff in the future. I mean, that's kind of how I kind of judge things. It's like, you can like new music and hate on, say, Led Zeppelin, right? But the reality is, hundreds of years from now, they'll probably still be listening to Led Zeppelin. They will not be listening to Missy Elliott. What up, homie?
Howdy, Mr. James.
How are you doing, my good sir?
Oh, unwinding. Beat up.
Oh, you all for it?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
All right. So I'm opening up a box of Reaper miniatures.
oh
The
hell
one
yeah.
thing I know that's in it is a bunch of cavemen because I got 4 packs of them for free.
Oh, awesome. You going to paint them like the Flintstones?
That would be funny, wouldn't it? Paint them all up in cheetah fur and shit.
Should,
Well, I got
man.
this guy because I don't have one and I felt like I needed one. It's a Leah Kokra, if that's how you say that. It's like the one monster that's so ugly that it can kill you if you look at it. I think that's what the Leah Kokra is. Or am I thinking the cat, whatever. The Catabopolis.
I know I've heard that before. Or like there's another creature that if you look at it, you'll suffer a fever.
Yeah. I'm getting ready to look this bad boy up because I do have my book here. So when in doubt, open up to the monster section. And let's see.
Take a look. It's enough.
Tentacle horror. Ew, that's horrible. All right. Shoggoth. Yeah, you don't want one of those.
Yeah, that's many was a time we've tried to fight them, but never works out.
Yeah, 12 hit die creature that does 6/6 damage per hit. Corrodes leather and metal on contact.
Gosh,
Every time you hit it by weapon or lightning, a smaller 4 hit die Shoggoth will be created. And the main body regenerates. And the 4 hit die can be split into a smaller one. They can only be harmed by fire. And they can melt stone. Yeah, that's not good. That's not a thing. Okay. So here are our elves. We got Men of Ling,
Ling Ling.
Lotus Woman. That's another thing about Hyperborea. Plants will kill you.
Oh, for sure.
Leaper camels. You know what a leaper camel looks like?
What's that?
A tauntaun. It's not related to a camel. It looks like a tauntaun. It says that's a kangaroo-like animal, and they're typically ridden around by the abominable snowmen and men of Ling in the frozen tundras. That means at some point I'm going to have to find a way to get tauntauns.
It's just more miniatures.
I mean, I'm pretty happy because I found a person to make me my blimmies. So that's good. I'm happy about that.
You're just going to fill out the bestiary, aren't you?
I already have so many of the stuff, manticores and everything like that. There's just some really weird, like specific monsters that I don't have. And those
especially when you start scribbling material for Hyperborea, you're gonna have to find custom miniatures.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I have Alamias and I have all the typical stuff, but the Blimmy, while I do know there was a company a while back that made them, I never bought any. So now I'm like, damn, I want some, you know?
Yeah.
Just like I never owned a lot of apes. And then it turns out that apes are basically everywhere. I got this guy today in a big pack full of like ocean creatures. I think I paid like $20. It comes with like, I mean, literally there's handfuls of this crap full of sea creatures. But this was the one I wanted the big octopus, but I got and the thing is, these guys are scale. So like this manta ray, I don't know what I'd use it for, but it's pretty much dead on.
That's pretty accurate for like a 28 millimeter medium size miniature.
The only things that aren't scale are like they got whales in there. The whales aren't scaled, but the sharks, like and I forget what kind of shark this is, maybe a mako or something. But there's like a 10 to 12 foot mako shark. And a 12-foot mako shark is enough to make somebody in the water not happy. You know, if it runs up and takes a chomp out of you, right?
Get back on the boat.
Right.
Or don't get on the boat. There's the best policy.
I'm not even sure what this is supposed to be, but again, oh, this is a sleeper shark. I can tell because it's filtering. So the sharks are all about 3 inches long, which on average would make them about 15 feet or so, somewhere around that, 12 maybe.
Doesn't have to be spit shot accurate. So
right. And then this otter, the sea otter, there's giant sea otters in the game. There's giant otters. So just put it on a base and there you go. Giant otter. And that's kind of the pack was, like I said, it was under $20 and it come with like 40 things. So here's another one that's about dead on, really. Our beloved Florida manatee.
Oh yeah,
That thing's about a little over 2.5 inches, and that would make it around 10 to 12 feet.
that was a devilish nickname I got when I was really really young.
They called you the manatee.
Well, my name's Tyler, and I spent entirely too much time in Panacea, Florida. It's a two seagull town,
Oh
and so they started calling me Manatee because I was a big old chunky boy back then.
yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to kill every cousin I had, just end the family line.
Hey, like rats in walls, right?
Oh god, those
One
bastards.
guy kills his whole family and runs to America. See, here's a well. This is way too small. This thing would have to be like 10 inches long.
That has to be like a calf or something. Like,
But I don't care. I'll just throw that aside and not worry about it. But here we've got a gigantic stingray. And that'll fit. That'll work, you know?
and this was just like the pack of toy animals. Like
Yeah,
the
it was
man.
like what you would get from
We did
Hobby
that when
Lobby.
we were broke teenagers. We'd hit the aquarium section for like terrain and stuff. You know, they have the
Oh yeah.
uh,
Get all the
trees and
rocks and
stuff.
shit.
Or the best thing was to hit Michael's or Hobby Lobby during Halloween for spooky trees. It'd be
Yeah.
like a pack of 5 of them. Yeah, we used to do that all the time.
Dude, I hit Hobby Lobby every Christmas and buy up all the Christmas trees. And most of the time they have these good like 3-4 inch pine trees and they're like $1 a piece. I'll go in there. See, we got black tip shark.
That's about right.
And yeah, and it's about right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I was really surprised, but if I put it on my ruler, this is 2.5 inches long. All right. And if we're talking like a standard scale figure, let me grab this Roman soldier here. He is from his foot
That is Marcus Titus Forescale.
from his foot to the crown of his head is 1.5 inches. So if he's around 5.5 feet tall, then that means that shark's 11 feet. It's 11-foot long shark.
Ooh.
And for a black tip, that's about right. They don't get real big, you know.
Back then, I preferred the bigger ones. You could kind of see the swell a little bit better. It was the little 3 and 3.5 foot, 4 foot blues that would get me scrambling out. They'd come up in the shallows.
You know, most people that get bit in Florida, they're getting bit by sand sharks and Nerf sharks.
I tried not to get bit at all.
Well, Coco is the shark bite capital of the world, but it's not the shark bite fatality capital of the world. Because people walk in there, they step on a sand shark or a Nerf shark or something. It takes a little chunk out of them, a little bite, you know, a little nibble, and then it runs off because they're only about 2 feet long.
Yeah.
So here we've got about a 10-foot swordfish. See, that would be good for like a diorama if you had like a thing and it was hanging off of it, you know, like
Yeah. Or like those old gel toys, you know, that created like the gel where you suspended stuff, like a underwater scene.
yeah. Yeah, I was just thinking have it suspended off of a rack like, hey, look what they caught today, you know?
You could actually
Fresh catch of
if
the
you were to
day.
ever do the interior of an inn or something, you could have that like tacked to a board,
Yeah, that would actually be really cool, wouldn't it?
like
Make
some
a
funny
board out of like
taxidermy.
balsa or something and just
Yeah.
stick that joker on it. Now, this guy I know for a fact is just about a little big, but it's pretty much close enough. We got
Okay.
a little greenback turtle. Not allowed to mess with them boys. They get mad.
Oh God.
And then we've got the great fish. Yeah,
So
you want to be
was it
careful
a
around these bad boys.
porpoise? Was it a porpoise or something?
Yeah, bomb-nosed dolphin.
Oh, okay.
They're like worse than humans. And there's so many others that are just still over there out of reach that I'm not sure I want to try to grab. Now, I don't know if this is accurate or not, but it's a narwhal. I feel like this might be a little small for a narwhal, but I don't know how
Uh,
big they get.
maybe a young one. I don't know.
Right? Can you imagine like the group's doing something and then it's like, you get attacked by a narwhal. Ha!
I think they're in a bestiary somewhere.
All
I could have
right.
swore I've seen them.
Now, again, I'm thinking these might be fairly accurate. Look at this walrus. It's a pretty big walrus. That thing's like 12 feet, 13 feet long. I mean, that's a big ass walrus. And then there's like a seal that's about the same size. So,
It might be just shy. Oh, it was like walruses are kind of
so like a female
huge.
walrus.
Yeah, I watched a video one time of a walrus goring a polar bear one time, and I was like, "All right, they don't play."
Yeah, I saw one of those type of videos, and it was a walrus like trying to hump a car, and the walrus was as big as the car. That was the thing, because you don't know how big they are until you see them next to something, and all of a sudden, they're like, yeah, these guys are like 15, 16 feet long.
Yeah, nah, I'm good, man.
They're pretty big. They can be incredibly aggressive, just depending on their mood. So it's like, I've got a whole section in my box of toys for the game of just saltwater shit or ocean stuff. Janet.
Makes encounters difficult. It's just because when it calls time for them, you open up the box and you're like, what to use?
Well, and that was kind of what I was going for was because the players have been traveling around by boat all over the place. So I'm like, I need to. And she says hi to Cold Iron too.
Hey.
So I felt like I just needed the ability to do it. I didn't, you know what? I didn't need any of these miniatures, to be perfectly honest. Could have done them without them. I wanted them because I don't know.
Just to have them. Better to have them and not need them.
Right. Getting ready to make a deal like I've been telling you with the comic shop guys. I sent him pictures of all the stuff I'm wanting to sell him. So now it's going to be in his corner, like how much he wants to charge.
Feels like everybody's selling their 40K stuff.
Well, because they pulled a Fonzie, right? It's a damn shame because I love 40K, but I mean I still like the old lore big time. I still talk about the lore. I'll still defend the honor of my beloved Blood Angels, but I'll never get rid of my Sanguinius ever. But the rest of it, screw it, man. If it's not 30K, which I'm keeping the 30K stuff, it can go away. I'm sick of it. I don't want the Primaris bullshit. I don't want any of that. Just done. Okay, apparently I got 2 Leocrota. They're not in the Hyperborea book, which means they are definitely, though, in the Monster Manual. But yeah, I'm just, Janet, I'm not doing a whole lot. I'm just up here BSing around. I couldn't go to sleep because I slept most of the day. I was on a stream, and then when I shut the stream off, I'm like, well, I went in there and ate a salad and laid down, and silly me fell asleep. See, this is a joke. This is a joke, Reaper. This is a damn joke. I'm offended. I need to write Reaper a letter and be like, are you kidding me? I mean, it's a good miniature, though. It's
Was the
cool.
scale off or something?
Oh, hell yeah. Look at this. How could this ever be considered a dire crocodile? 3 inches long. 15 feet
Nah.
is not a dire crocodile.
Nah.
15 feet is not even the biggest crocodile we know about. I mean, a dire crocodile would have to be bigger than Gustav, right? And Gustav's 16 plus feet at least. At least the last time they saw him. He's got over 350 kills under his belt. Yeah, this guy's barely 3.5 inches long. Okay. If I straighten his tail out, he'd be 4 feet long. That'd mean 20 feet. That's still not dire.
It's not a dire croc, no.
Yeah, dire would be 6 inches. A 30-foot crocodile. That's what I'm talking about. Or bigger. Did you see my King Kong? Pretty proud of him.
No.
That's not code, so don't worry.
That will. I
I ordered the base for this bastard. Look at that.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's just like a toy, right?
Yeah, it's solid as hell. It weighs like a couple pounds. I think this was around $14 or $16. And it's not supposed to be a giant ape. It's just supposed to be a silverback. But when I looked at the description, it said, 8 or 10 inch, whatever it said. Yeah, this guy's 8 inches. And I thought, well, an 8-inch gorilla, that's 40 feet tall. And if you go by scale, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, at some point, I 100% plan on running Isle of Dread between you and me and everyone else. So I felt like I kind of needed that guy,
Yes. Start getting the minis for them. Start picking them up. That's how I got at least a third of the miniatures I have. Was like, oh, I need one of that for such and such. I need this one for such and such. And most of the time, I ended up never running them.
You know what's crazy about my acquisition of miniatures lately, though, is I got these Reaper miniatures, but most of the miniatures I've gotten recently for Hyperborea have been from like game companies, like Popo or Podo or whatever, and a lot of them they're made out of the same material as Reaper miniatures, and they come pre-painted. And depending on what you're trying to get, I mean, like if you want a gigantic ape, right? If a game company, even one of the cheaper ones like Reaper, made this, I'd have to paint it and it costs $50.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? Because I've got Baba Yaga's hut up there, and that damn thing is $65. And this is bigger, And then I got my giant shark, which I don't know where it is right now, and my mosasaur, and they're $8 a piece. Now look at that. Imagine when the players are on their ships.
What was that, Tyrannosaur or something?
It's one of the mosasaurs, yeah. One of the big.
I'm not sure.
I don't know, but scale wise, it's about. Let's see. I always keep my ruler with me, so that's going to be 10. Okay, that's 13 inches long. So that's a 65-foot monster coming out of the water for that ass, like 100% for that ass. And then I got this guy too, because I mean,
oh, Nessie,
old plesiosaur. Yep, and like I said, so some of them are very expensive, but not. See, the thing that throws a lot of people off when I say something's cheap is I'm used to 40K prices. So
right.
When 40K wants to charge you $70 for like Abaddon the Despoiler, if I can get something for $15, I'm like, damn, that's a great deal, So I've been ruined by 40K as far as for figuring out prices. But I also got a Megalodon just about the same size as that.
See if I can find those because we found this little company a while back that we used constantly. Here we go. It's Archie McPhee, the tiny boxes of type things, and it's like a lot of it is just random. Here's a tiny box of city critters, which
That's
has
nice.
got like a squirrel, some rats, a raccoon, and stuff.
Well,
And
see,
a
you see
tiny
my
box.
boat, right?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a filament 3D print situation here. And again, if you have read your Hyperborea book, you would know that these are very common
Yes, 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 yes.
Viking ships. This is not actually a Drakkar. This is I call it like a knurl. That's why it's so wide bodied. They're more used for merchant shit.
So you
But
need a Saxon ship so that one can be set on fire and sunk. And as they're trying to swim to either shore or the Saxon boat asking for mercy, they bury a sea axe in their heads.
right, how about a? I got to fix this because when I was messing with it, I kind of pulled the back end off, and it goes down here. How about a Russian riverboat?
You just had to have that, didn't you?
I did.
This was an absolute you saw, you clicked.
It was more I saw I printed this out.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, I printed like I've got 3 or 4 of these actually.
Yeah, that one was not optional for you. That
Well,
was.
painting the cell like the Russian Federation flag. That was me. I did. Actually, I also am responsible for putting the covered house on because the original ship comes with just the deck and the back tower. And then there was an option, which I have, that has a 4 tower and back tower. And then this was, let me not drop it, custom made. So you can see where I painted the curtains because just
oh,
curtains.
oh, cool.
You go to bed, asshole.
No hunger. I gotta stay up, watch sumo wrestling, and make memes.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm gonna do.
All right. So I may actually paint the cell on this different at some point, but
No, that's gotta stay, dude.
for
Come
right
on.
now, I pretty much love it. Pretty
It's
hardcore.
so it's so you. Like that is you.
Yeah.
It's cheeky in a kind of a plucky fun way. Like as soon as anyone who knows you would see it, they'd be like, "Yeah, James did that." So,
Yeah, they would. They'd be like, well, that's definitely James.
and if it had
But
a
like
giant
I
rainbow
say,
flag,
though,
everybody know it'd be Hungar. So
Hungar, poor Hungar. There you go, Hungar. That's what you get for telling us to go to bed, though. I mean, like, normally I'd try to defend my brother, but you're the one that came in here just slinging mad shit all over the place.
yeah, named the Sassy Seafarer.
And we're just here trying to have a good time.
I'm just looking at miniatures, man. I was just unwinding, having my tea,
Okay.
having some drinks.
Having some purple drink.
Oh yeah, gotta have the lean.
Well, I know you're from Atlanta, so,
I'm
or
not
that
from
area.
Atlanta. I am not from Atlanta. I'm from
I'm
worse.
just saying you're from that
I'm from
region.
Macon,
So,
which actually got me some street cred in Atlanta.
do you?
Yeah. They were just like, where are you from? And I was like, Macon. They were like, shit, you from Rat City. And I was like, why do y'all call it Rat City? I know there's like the river and there's. They said, no, apparently that's where everybody in Atlanta who testifies runs to hide is in Macon.
Huh.
And I was like, oh, I did not know that. They said, yeah, they always hide out in Macon. That's why it's called Rat City.
Huh.
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no one ever testifies where I'm from.
Didn't see nothing.
Exactly. Rainbows are for shadow. Uh-oh.
No, not no
Bringing
more.
it back. Bringing it back.
Nope.
Because since Shadow's been hanging out with Bear, that's a thing. I told him this morning before you joined us. I was like, because they were talking about you actually and all
Oh
your
God.
memes. No, nothing bad. And I was like, he only did those memes because he listened to what we were saying and he made memes. I was like, if it wasn't for Bear constantly going off about how gay Shadow was, he wouldn't have made those memes.
That was the whole thing. Was y'all would turn into a giant like daytime talk show thing, going back and forth, saying the most horrible shit to each other. I mean, just god awful.
Yeah, I don't do that so much anymore with Bear or Shadow. I'm just like, whatever. I have noticed when I enter the chat or I join a lot of people's streams, there's a certain group of people that always comes up with a reason to leave. I'm wondering if I've
No,
offended a bunch of people.
it's because you're one of them dirty right wingers.
I don't know. I don't think
It's
that's it.
typically what it is. Is anybody who's brazen to have like the talk or notice or be so emboldened to mention anything from the no list?
Yeah,
Uh,
and what's sad is some of them are people that at one point I was very close to, and now all of a sudden
yeah,
I,
normies.
I recognize the fact that they're never around, and then when I do see them on someone else's show, they always leave when I show up, and I'm just like, not hurt. I'm like, well, okay, screw those
No,
guys.
I mean, you just if you speak brazenly, people are
Yep.
people want to keep it to games and simple stuff. But I mean, if you breach the topics on the list,
Yep.
I don't think
Yep.
it's
I've
not that
been
I don't think
making
they think you're
myself.
a bigot or something. It's just they don't themselves want to. They're chicken shit. Let's just put it at
Yeah, they don't need that smoke. Yep.
that.
I've been to Macon when I joined the Army, first got to 3-7 Infantry. One of the old timers in the unit lived in Macon, and he invited us all to his house for a weekend. And it was fun. I mean, but all we did is go to his house and play dominoes and drink. So
That's about what you do in Macon
so
or get shot.
17-year-old me thought it was a blast. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, we're going to hang out and drink and, play dominoes and spades and hearts. And
Yeah, dodge bullets. Get the flesh-eating bacteria from the river. You can do that
well,
too.
where he lived was pretty cool. So, and we didn't go swimming or anything.
Do not get in that water.
Yeah, I don't get in any water. I get in
Had
the
a
shower.
guy from Montana moved down here, and he went swimming in that fucking river. That dude was shitting and puking for 3 straight days, and it was like, you went in the river. Don't get in the river.
Well, it's like I told you, I think before, like my mom, in her infinite amazingness, thought it'd be a good idea to let me watch Jaws when I was like 7.
Yeah, no.
So, yeah, think I'm getting in the ocean? Oh, hell no. I don't even take baths. That movie scared me so much. I was checking the toilet book before I'd sit on it. I was like, holy shit. People don't understand how scary that movie actually is when you're just a little kid. And then another one I watched way too young, which probably was very, very instrumental in a lot of my outlook and everything, was The Exorcist.
The Exorcist got me in a very different way.
That's how
Very
it is.
different.
That's how it does.
It's when they tap her jugular and her neck when she's in the hospital, and it was squirting out with her pulse and everything. Now, like
Yeah.
when I was that age, I was like, oh God, I'm gonna faint. Look at that. It wasn't the bleeding, it was when he pulled the track tube out to release the blood, getting lightheaded. Fuck.
Well, I've seen,
Blech.
I don't know if I remember that particular part, but I've seen people get IVs in the jugular because they're junkies and they've blown all of the veins on their arms.
Don't like it. Yuck.
Yeah. When I was doing rotations at the hospital, I had to watch a dude catch that. And I was like, what in the F is this all about?
Everything else about the film, I mean, up to and including the sacrilege of the misuse of a crucifix, I was just kind of like, yep, that's a demon. That's a demon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've
Oh,
seen
we don't
some movies
we don't
that
have
were pretty
deliverance people
wild,
in
but
Georgia.
Huh?
I was responding to a comment. You don't have the deliverance style people in Georgia anymore. You really don't.
Well, I think that movie took place. Was it Georgia?
I don't know. I've never actually seen it, but
I thought
for
Deliverance was like in Alabama or some shit.
uh, Alabama's actually a lot better than Georgia.
Is it?
Oh God, yes. Oh God, yes. Alabama is. I mean, Alabama's got like Talladega, better gaming than Georgia. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I didn't know. Didn't know.
Oh yeah, especially like Huntsville, around Huntsville and Gunnersville and places like that. Alabama's kick ass.
Huh. Okay.
Georgia, you just got to worry about Fent, um, them, and the others. There you go.
Yeah, that don't sound fun.
No, but it's home,
Yeah. Someone's got to live there, right?
right?
Well, I spent a lot of time in Georgia between Benning and Stewart, and so that means I know nothing about it because it's not like I lived there. I just happened to be wandering through.
A lot of Spaniard stuff, a lot of old Spanish stuff.
Really, I would.
Yeah,
I mean, Florida's full of that. Fort Augustine and everything. I mean, the
mhm.
oldest city on the continent or whatever.
Tons of Spanish stuff in Georgia. There was a place of teenagers called the Grotto in Rose Hill Cemetery, and we used to sneak off there to the ruins of that old church and start trying to dig because everybody swore there was Spanish coins in there and stuff for church tithing, and of course we'd get
Probably not.
busted.
Yeah, probably not something that the local law
Oh
pretty much
God, no!
liked.
Oh God, no! They ran down on us. Somebody claimed one time they found a silver cup there one time, and I was like, I don't believe it. And it was always someone's older brother's cousin. You know how it goes.
I do.
He was like, he was digging there and he found this cup and he looked at it and it was made of pure silver. And I was like, I don't believe that shit.
The
So,
only archaeological thing that I can think of, things that I know for a fact people I know found, is my grandfather used to dig up Indian burial sites when it was legal. When they made it illegal, he stopped. But that was kind of a thing people did because there were numerous tribes that buried their dead in eastern Kentucky, including the Cherokee. And then there were people, including museums, who would pay money for artifacts. So he would do that, and then occasionally people would be out digging around and they would find like mini balls and stuff like that. But maybe not from the actual Civil War. It just could have been some good old boy with a squirrel rifle out there trying to shoot a deer or something. But occasionally you might find a mini ball, like I think a 56 caliber.
like a musket ball, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. The mini ball was the French one that was actually conical and designed to expand as it went down a rifled barrel.
Oh,
That's why the Civil War was so deadly, is they were still using tactics like the Napoleon War, but they had rifled muskets that were accurate to about 300 yards. And so uh, that's how there's so many Civil War battles where there's the one part, I think it's Gettysburg, the cornfield, where like a whole damn regiment of men died in under 30 seconds. It's just like blam. Because I
and
mean, everybody's firing these very accurate weapons at 50 yards.
yeah,
And it's just like, yeah, yeah. So that's a big part of the reason for the casualty rate during the Civil War. Because
the
I
big
mean,
thing to do was try
those
to
muskets that
sneak off to Andersonville and try to dig up bones. That was a thing they
yeah,
talked about.
yeah, those old muskets, those old fashioned muskets they used before they switched over to rifled muskets. I mean, after 50 yards, that round ball is likely to just go anywhere.
Yeah,
So that was the whole point of the massed warfare, was to hopefully hit something. But then some French guy developed the mini ball, and they started. What they were doing is they were actually rifling the old smoothbore muskets. And like a lot of muskets, they actually converted to be breech loaded, I think is what you call it, instead of muzzle. And some of them they converted from flintlock to actual cap and ball. And I mean, if you follow the Civil War, the weapons they were using were constantly being upgraded. I mean, by the end, they had Sharps 50 cals and lever action rifles and all kinds of shit by the end of it. So,
Only their medicine had caught up with them.
well, unfortunately, if you caught a lead ball on a bone, the only way you were going to live is to get rid of that shit. That's just sadly a fact. There was nothing else for it. Remove the leg, or the guy's going to get septic and be dead in a day and a half.
It wasn't so much the bone sawing, it was those little hook tools to reach up in there to grab the artery to tie it off.
Hey, man.
I was like, oh, not the wiring. Oh.
For the time, they were doing the best they could. You know what I mean? I'll tell you. I bet you every time you see those old Civil War movies and the doctor's always drunker than shit. And I totally get it. I totally get it.
Can't say I'd be any different in that area. Actually, I would be different. My ass would have defected back to Europe already.
Yeah, because I mean, if your whole job was just hacking off the legs of young men, just all day.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, of course you would. You'd drink. How would you not? I mean, I can't even imagine. And
I think they would have traded whiskey for coffee, though. I remember us so prevalent in everything I ever read was like, oh, there's plenty of booze, no coffee. Men are fighting over coffee.
There was, if you believe the stories, supposedly a time where some Confederate guys actually traded with Union guys. And I think coffee was a thing that they were trading, you know.
I'd totally believe it.
Best barbecue in Puller, Georgia. I got some barbecue near Jackson. It wasn't in Jackson, Georgia, but it was near Jackson, Georgia, and it was amazing. The best ribs I've had in like so long.
Well, we do have that. We do have good barbecue. Not the best, in my opinion, but it's pretty good.
I mean, you know, I liked it. So there you go. It was good enough for me. But,
Georgia sometimes does it too salty. They get real dry rubby sometimes with it. And it's,
well, see, that's what I like. When I order like my St. Louis ribs, I don't want them to be drowning in sauce. I like them to kind of, you know, be a little dry rubbed, like you said. And what I got up there for the price and everything was hang on, man. I was like, hell
prices
yeah.
aren't bad.
No, and the gas was so great, man. I left Florida, it was like $4 and change a gallon. Got up to Georgia, it was like $3.70. I was like, what the shit? So of course we filled that tank up, you know. And before we entered Tennessee, we filled her up again, even though it wasn't even empty. We just filled it up, you know. Tennessee, it jumped up, and then Kentucky, it was like almost $4.50 a gallon.
Did you stop at Buc-ee's?
We did not, because we had my boy with me, and you know, I told the wife, I was like, you know, we can't take him in, and we're not going to go in turns, and
you can't take him in,
huh?
What do you mean you can't take him in?
Can you take him in? I've never tried.
My mother takes her Palm into Buc-ee's all the time.
Well,
takes that dog with her everywhere.
That's basically the thing, is I didn't, and that was the excuse. Plus, between you, me, and the wife, because she knows I was about ready to just get home. You know what I mean?
I feel you. Yeah.
It was about like that. So
get back to the corner.
We did feast on the Lord's chicken a couple of times during the trip. That was a thing. So that's pretty much all we ate, to be honest. Because, you know, you pull in Chick-fil-A, even if it looks like it's a long line, it's not a long line.
Did you hit one of the dwarf houses up there?
No, I don't know what that is.
It's Chick-fil-A, but it's an actual restaurant. It's like the original Chick-fil-A's that
Oh
have like
no,
waitresses, and
no, never even seen one. I mean,
oh
it was
wow.
basically the whole. There's a Chick-fil-A at this exit. Pull off, run through the line, grab my chicken
Oh,
sandwich,
okay.
hit the road. You know,
Yeah,
um,
dwarf houses, man, they're an experience, dude.
are they?
All through Georgia. Yeah. Well, North
Well, if
Georgia.
I ever see one in the future, I might have to mention something to the wife then. But
They got menus. You sit down, order. They got different items on the menu.
we always take the palm with us, and that means that sit down restaurants are just right out like
Georgia is
90% of the time.
Georgia will post a sign typically that just says no pets. You know what I mean? But if
Right.
it doesn't, 9 times out of 10, nobody says anything. There's women in there holding their cats. As long as they're not running around or shedding, nobody cares.
Well, you got me on one of those. He don't run around, but boy, oh boy,
Yeah, if it's like excessive,
that
like I mean,
dude fluffs like it's his job.
even then, most of the time you're going to get harassed by people saying, "What a beautiful dog! Oh, it's
Oh
so
yeah,
pretty." And then they want to talk about their Pomeranian, and then
yeah.
they want to talk about their new dog, etc.
Well, I love that though. I don't consider that harassment. I consider that a good time. I
It's a
mean,
palm in public,
I
man.
spent
That's
10
what
minutes
happens.
standing at a freaking gas pump talking to some old dude, this old black guy, about his dog. And he used to be a truck driver and he used to drive down to Florida. And he was like, "So do you know where John Young is?" I was like, "Yeah, I do, man." And we were just having the best time ever, just, shooting the breeze. He had a cane now, so I guess something happened and he got hurt. But yeah, he told me he used to be a truck driver. Here's the thing. When I'm in public, I go out of my way to be very polite, kind, and friendly to everyone. I really do, you know. Um, my brother could tell you it's just the way I was raised. I do everything I can to make sure there's no problems.
Well, I mean, it's the best policy. You never know what kind of day someone's had,
Right.
and that could be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and they decide to just start with you.
Well, that's one way to look at it, but the other way to look at it is they don't know what kind of day I've had. And I grew up with a lot of rage in my heart. I have an incredibly bad temper, or at least I used to. And I found that by being super nice and everything, then no one does anything that's going to make me want to pull their head off. And so it turns out being good for everybody, like everyone's happy. But not so much now. I'm old and beat up, but when I was younger, yeah, it was mostly for everyone else, not for me. I was a dick. God, I was the worst.
Oh, glad I didn't know you back then.
Well, I mean, here was the thing. If you were my friend, I would practically die for you. But if you weren't my friend and you did something to like insult me in some way, it would just be
See,
just on site,
I have the exact opposite of you, kind of, to where it's like you say you can't tolerate weakness.
I have a hard time tolerating
Yeah,
weak people.
I had a problem when I was young of people who were perpetually angry or quick to temper. I cannot not fuck with them. It will be an
You would have been my
incessant,
nemesis.
exactly. It will be an incessant prank after jab after every, just
And depending on how things went, we would probably ended up either fist fighting all the time or being best friends.
you'd have cornered me one day, as it has happened before.
Yeah. Well, I met my actual real life best friend in a fight, me versus him. He was effing with me. And like I said, I was just on site back then, right?
Yeah, it's irresistible. I could
And he
not have
started
helped it.
messing with me, and I just went at it, and we fought up and down the block. Man, up and down the block fighting, and then turned out the guy lived behind me. This is in Florida. Like I walked out my backyard, and there was an alley and another backyard. You know how they are.
Yeah.
And he's standing in that backyard, and I'm like, what in the? And then so at first I was like, this motherfucker, and then we start talking, and he's like, so what do you do? And I was like, play D&D and stuff. And he's like, oh, I love D&D. And next thing you know, man, we're thick as thieves.
Okay. D&D, that solves it. That kind of cuts it right there.
Yeah, that was kind of what it was. As soon as he was like, oh man, I love D&D, I was
Find
like,
out you
okay,
both play games.
We're
That's
best
it.
friends forever now.
Yeah. Games will do it.
And we were. And that was, I guess we were 13, and we were best friends until I was in my late 40s. And the only reason we're not best friends is he died.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Well, I mean, he smoked like 3 packs a day. He was that guy.
Oh, I'm that guy too.
So it's
About time I quit.
I'm not happy he died, but I'm also not surprised.
Yeah. It's terrible. I wish to hell I'd never started. God.
He died in the sleep of a pulmonary embolism, which means he never even knew he was dead.
Oh.
So Coco's paying $6.80 a gallon.
Yo.
That's quite a bit, but not actually as bad as I thought it was in Canada. I always thought it was like way more, but not that that's great, but it's better than I suspected. So there you go. So,
is he from Canada too?
I got a lot of Canadian homies.
I noticed
the Canadians seem to mostly like me. It's them getting along with each other. That's the freaking problem around.
Right? I thought that was strange.
Yeah, me too, man. Like I've been on Shadow's show bullshitting around with Bear. We're all good. Bear he don't want to name names, but he said he's just sick and tired of being abused. And I know who he means, but that guy hasn't been on my show in like.
Man, Bear's a fun one to talk about abuse. That asshole grossing me the fuck out earlier today. Bear can just put on his big boy panties, man.
Grossing you out? What was he doing?
He was talking about some weird, like, 3-pronged trident sea wiener type shit. He was just being gross, man. I had just eaten breakfast. He's just like, my 3-pronged trident dick. And I was like, God, dude.
Was he using the Jesse Ventura accent when he was saying it?
It would have been better if he had, honestly. Like, it would have been a little more palatable. No, he was just being nasty. Bear was just being disgusting.
I live in Baja. My dick's got 3 prongs on it.
So he's a fun one to talk about. I'm tired of the abuse. What the hell is that?
I mean, Navy SEALs, don't they? Their symbol is a trident. And Homeboy was a Navy SEAL for sure. So
who, Bear?
No, Jesse Ventura.
Oh. Yeah, if he'd have used the Jesse Ventura voice, that'd have been cool. That'd have been like, okay, that's great. I hadn't heard it.
That's how I heard it when you described it. I was hearing Jesse the Body Ventura being like,
that would have been cool.
Yeah.
No, he was just talking to be nasty.
I'm a Navy SEAL, so my penis has actually got a trident shape on the end of it. I mean, that's hilarious. That's like good stuff. I don't know. Bear always cracks me up when he does the Jesse Ventura. I mean,
it's
even
great.
If I were mad at him, all he'd have to do is like start talking like Jesse Ventura. I'd just be like, I forgive you.
It's so good. I wanted him to like do the Jesse Ventura with like non-dairy creamer or something, just like a generic product.
Yeah.
It's like I want to just do it all the time. It's really good.
If I ever had him at my D&D table, I would kind of insist that whatever character he played talked like that.
Oh God.
I'm
sure he would. I'm sure he'd accommodate.
Can you imagine playing like a Call of Cthulhu game and Bear's playing some like Private Eye or something that always I grew up in the Baja, not really used to these sea things. They're not really in the desert and all that shit. That would just be
He'd lean
fucking
into it.
monumental. That would be the best. But
Either
yeah,
that or
I've
he'd be
been joining
profoundly
him in
annoyed.
Shadow a little bit, and it's been a lot of fun. I mean, as you point out, he still goes after Shadow for the Filipino.
Oh, Shadow wasn't fun earlier today, too, because Shadow was leaning into Bear's three-pronged dildo shit.
Wow.
Night-night.
Time for bed, Bo. Okay, Bo. Have a good one. Yeah, I think I did aggravate Bear a little bit because I said lesbians are all bullshit posturers. And if I were in charge, I would make it illegal for lesbians to use any penis-shaped sex toys. And he said, "You stole that from me." And I'm like, "Yeah, I did. You made your choice, bitches." Right? You got nothing but scissoring and freaking going down. You don't get no penis of any type. You made your choice. Live with it. Bear did invent that, and I did steal the shit out of it because it's hilarious. That's why. And that's why I told him. I said, if you didn't want me to steal it, you shouldn't have said something so funny.
Should have put it out there.
Right? I mean, because
if you put something out there, it's liable to get stolen and put on a T-shirt.
Yeah, it could.
Uh-huh. Be careful what I do. No.
I think you'll be fine.
No, because I went through phases of I was just like, this is wholesome and fun. This is wholesome and fun. I like this. And I did not know until just dude jumped on and was wearing, and then I saw Hungar wearing it. I made him an ultramarine that one time, and I was like, "Here you go, man!" And it totally clipped out all the Latino goth women showing their feet at the bottom. So I was like,
that's kind of missing the point, right?
It was a meme. It was a whole spread. No, he just wanted himself in armor and made a shirt. Okay.
To be honest, if anybody was going to be obsessed with the feet of Latino women, it would be Ultramarines.
It'd be who?
The Ultramarines.
Oh yeah.
That does seem like some shit they would be into.
It kind of does, and I'm trying to rack my brain as to why it fits, but it just does.
It just does.
Wait a minute. What's the chapter, like the something swords that are like heightened libido is like their curse? They're just the broadswords.
I know that have the heightened libido are the Emperor's children, and they made themselves that way. Because all of the other Space Marines, unless they've been modified, are mules. Their junk don't work. But the Emperor's children, they needed their junk to work so they could properly SA everyone they freaking attack, because they're basically like the Reavers from freaking Serenity. They show up and they're gonna SA you, murder you, and maybe make clothes out of your skin. Not necessarily in that order. So
their gene seed is the Blood Angels.
Blood Angels, probably a traitor unit. Because, I mean, my Blood Angels are far too pure and noble for any of that shit. I mean, other than drinking blood and sometimes going into a berserk rage and just killing everybody, they're generally pretty chill, There are quite a few Traitor Blood Angel successor chapters, though. So it's like, yeah.
I think it is the broadswords.
And, of course, Korn has a particular hard-on for the Blood Angels. He really, really wants to get the Blood Angels to betray the Emperor and become berserkers. And that's been a thing since 30K.
I don't know. They tried to ruin my 10,000, and that's all I ever cared about. It's,
Oh, they've run them and unrun them and run them. It just depends on the freaking edition. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's all I ever cared about.
Originally, they were super cool. These sorcerer marines and the big kind of Egyptian armor. It was like, those guys are badass.
Looking down on even Primarchs as flawed. They were just like flawed.
Yeah, they were really cool. And then all of a sudden, they just,
Yeah.
that's what they do. And like you said earlier, when you said everybody's selling their shit, well, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a fact. Everybody is selling their shit.
I mean, it's just been horrible because it's like everybody's selling off their shit or like trying to like do like really easy, cool swaps for stuff. And I'm kind of like, oh man, that's kind of cool. But oh, alas, nobody to fucking play with. Never mind.
Well, when Holy Diver was on earlier and he was talking about some dude at the store was like, hey, that looks cool. I think I'd like to play Holy Diver. Like, just get it 3D printed, man. You know, the only thing you need to buy at the comic shop is your paints and shit. Don't spend $70 for 2 figures. It's crazy.
I'm still kind of adrift after the whole Trench Crusade fiasco.
Yeah, but you know what? War Games Atlantic has a kind of a fantastical World War setting, and I have some of the miniatures somewhere, like the North American Alliance, and they have these Badger. They're called Badgered armored suits, and in this world, the North American Alliance is Mexico all the way up, and so what happened in this setting is that World War One didn't break up the empires, and now it's after World War One, and the empires are duking it out. So Austria-Hungary and Russia and the German Empire and the United Kingdom and all that, they're still like their imperial selves, and yeah, they're all duking it out with like this high tech. Um, Now I'm not sure how they got the high tech, but somehow they got high tech, and so yeah, it's like 1930 or 40, and you've got American troops in power armor with like
Eh,
carrying like M250 cows. You know,
yeah, I can't swing that.
I mean, but I'm
Uh,
not sure exactly what the setting is. I
I mean,
bought
this,
some of them a long time ago just to use for Trench Crusade to
yeah, see,
piss people off.
that's the thing. The system wasn't anything to really write home about, but Trench
Yeah.
Crusade still hit that sweet spot, you know?
It could have been really good. It was a game that alienated a lot of its potential customers by what the people who were creating and working on it were saying.
Yep.
And there,
Also, the setting it up for a schism in the future. It was like sniper priests follow the tenets of the fifth Metachrist, and
yeah,
stigmatic nuns follow the tenets of the third Metachrist. And it's like, oh, look, heresy. Oh,
yeah,
fun.
and I wasn't a huge fan of the idea of a Metachrist because it assumes that the flesh is what made Jesus special,
Kind
and
of
it's
defeats
simply
the
that's
purpose.
just not the way it is. It was the spirit, and cloning flesh is not going to clone spirit. You see what I mean?
You know,
So, I mean, it was flawed right up front, but well, when they introduced that, but the original stuff, when they originally introduced the idea of like this never ending war between the forces of hell and the forces of good, I mean, you're right. That shit was just bang on awesome. And I even have, it's in a storage box now, but I made a whole Russian army with Orthodox priests and,
oh yeah,
all
dude.
nine
The
yards, man.
some people painting their Saint Methodius trench pilgrims as Orthodox monks,
Well, they
like
would
Mount
be.
Eighth.
Yeah,
God,
Mount
they'd
Athos,
have to
right?
be. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd have to be. There's no choice. But another thing that aggravated me is because these people are Europeans and Europeans are bitches, sorry to
Mm.
say it, they made it a point of America just not being involved in the war, even though you had soldiers carrying Thompson machine guns.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, so America is not involved in the war, then why do you got Thompson machine guns?
Either that or they were saving it for lore later, like there was going to be another Hellgate or
They introduced
America.
Hellgates all over the place.
Yeah,
There
they were
was a
going to just
Hellgate
pop
in
one up
Russia.
and
There was a Hellgate in Finland.
probably saving it for their third, like pseudo eldritch fashion or factions, like Temple of the Beast or Path of the Beast and Temple of the Metamorphosis and stuff like, which they have done exactly jack and shit with both, and it
Well,
has been forever.
and they also betrayed a lot of the people too, because it started out as 3D print your own shit, and now all of a sudden they're like putting out the plastic kits.
Yeah, that was absolute devastation is what they
And
did.
a
They were
lot of
like,
people
no,
are
it's
just like, oh, so you lied to us. Nice.
miniatures agnostic, kit bash if you want to, don't care.
And then so it started out absolutely. It could have been such a great thing. And I built a Trench Crusade table. It's 4 foot by 4 foot, all just trenches everywhere.
Oh
And I
man.
have like the giant cross, the concrete crosses, and the bunkers and all that, right? And my brother has a army of I forget which demon lord, maybe Wrath. And I made it out of World War One English and Russian soldiers, but I 3D printed a bunch of helmets with demon masks, like grotesque masks. So they're all carrying like World War One type equipment for the most part, but they're wearing these masks with horns, and they've got like the 3D printed like Payman and the other demons like icons on them. And then I made myself, as I said, my Orthodox army, and I was like, we're gonna play this game. And then they came out with all their bullshit, and I was like, or not. Or
Yep.
not. I mean,
God, that was heartbreaking.
Well, like I told them on their own, I was on their Discord. I said, I'm going to play Trench Crusade how I want. I'm going to ignore your lore because it's stupid, and I'll just do what I want. Because I posted on X and other places, I posted the lore the way it should be. And I had a lot of people on that post agree with me and say that the lore as they wrote it was just stupid. And, because the idea that the demons were somehow in control of the Atlantic, it's like, well, how did they even get out of the Mediterranean? They had to get by Gibraltar, which is a huge fortress, and the forces of Europe have jet fighters. And and I'm like, I don't know if you idiots know it or not, but World War One era dreadnoughts do not beat jet fighters. I mean, that's a lesson we all learned in World War II, right?
Mm-hmm.
Airplanes beat ships all day long. And but the reason they did that is that was how they were trying to keep America out of the game, by saying America could not get to Europe because the oceans were completely dominated by the forces of hell.
The heretic navy.
And I'm sitting here like, so America's not just cranking out ships just day in, day out, nonstop. Get out of here.
They're probably saving that lore or saving that area for some new piece of lore or something stupid.
Well,
They'll screw it up some more.
The interesting thing, and I pointed this out, and a lot of people got pretty mad, but I pointed out the whole, how are you going to handle Mexico and South America? I mean, are the Aztec gods coming back? Is the Hellgate going to open in Machu Picchu? I mean, right? And everybody's like, well, that's racist and blah blah blah.
How the fuck is it racist?
Everybody didn't. The people who run the game were like that. The people who actually like the game, they're like, he's right. So they could have said America is not involved in the war because there's a giant war between the United States and Canada versus all the demon worshippers in South America. because forces of hell just conquered all of South America for the most part, right? Maybe Sao Paulo, they could have said stands, because
Yeah,
you got
or
the giant
Brazil or
rice
something,
there or something. Yeah, but and also it was like, well, what about the East? I mean, I love the Japanese, don't get me wrong, but they're Shintoists. And the
Yeah,
Chinese
that was my
are
that was
Confucianists,
actually
right?
my kit bashed Saint Methodius band. Was I had Shinto shrines as anchorite shrines and sumo wrestlers.
And that is an issue if you're trying to have
I was
like
so
a
ready.
unified, believable lore. Because obviously, the non Christians in the East are all going to be on the side of hell. So that means the Hindus, the Shinto guys, Confucianism, Buddhism, all of them are not going to be on the side of Christ. I mean, the Muslims aren't on the side of Christ. The Jews are not on the side of Christ. In the lore, they're not, even
Yep.
though occasionally they will ally here and there, right?
Yeah, that was one of the ones they released. The
So,
Hebrew Knights.
yeah, the Jewish knights that lived in that castle somewhere or whatever.
Yeah,
Which I mean, whatever, that's cool, but I mean, they're
cool. I
never
mean,
going to heaven.
just
That
how about
was their big problem, actually, Tyler.
what?
The fact that they tried to make a game that had real world theology in it, they painted themselves into a corner in a way that there's just no way for them to actually get out of it without pissing 2/3 of the people who want to play the game off.
That's why they're doing the mythos. The this isn't hell. This isn't the forces of good. It's just entities. The
Right,
metamorphosis path of the beast thing. They basically created mythos cults.
right. Yeah, because they would have to because of what we're talking about. I mean, the second they said princes of hell, Jerusalem is basically hell on earth. You have to go and like swear your allegiance, and some of them actually go into hell and come back all burn up but badass. I mean, they had already right then painted themselves in a corner if they ever expected non-Christians to play the game.
Or just do a either the third party factions like they did, like Hebrew Knights, Jews exist, or the sultans and everything, Islam
Oh
exists,
yeah, the
etc.
Iron
The
uh,
Iron Sultanate, and stuff
Sultanate.
like. But
But
if they were to
but you know
create
what the
another
problem
culture,
is, though?
just do good and evil for both.
The problem with this is if you're a Muslim, say in real life you're a Muslim and you're looking at Trench Crusade and you decide you want to play the Iron Sultanate, but if you follow the lore to its conclusion, you're damned. You know
Mm,
what I mean?
pretty much.
The Iron Sultanate itself is damned. And
Well, bodies are bodies, boots on the ground. It's
so dude, on the Discord, you had idiots complaining that they couldn't play an atheist faction.
yeah. I heard about that
And
shit. It
and
became a
oh
fucking
man, I
meme.
was ripping them a new ass. I'm sitting here, I'm like, so in a setting where angels and demons have literally appeared and everyone has heard the voice of God, you want to play the atheist? Are you retarded? I mean,
It's
really?
like, why find a different game? It's like it's
It's just amazing to me that that's just where they are.
I
It's
wonder if
like,
somebody didn't say that shit just to be cheeky.
if they did, I would have respect for it, a lot more respect. If they were trolling, I'd be like, yeah, I see you, buddy. But if they're serious, then I just think they got to be regards, because
Can
it's
I
just
play the
like,
game but not be good or evil? It's like, dude, play a different game.
right. That actually was a problem that I had with Pundit when he put out his, because I bought it, the Supernatural game. It's basically all the factions are either satanic or Gnostic. And I was like, I don't want to play either of those. And he's like, no. And I was like, so here's what I'm doing. If I ever run this game, I'm going to make the Templars the group that the player characters are members of. Kind of like in that one MMO. And yeah, we're going with that. And he said, yeah, you can do that. Because I'm like, no, I'm not going to have players worshiping the demiurge and shit like that.
No,
Get out of here.
no. That's
See, I don't mind the players worshiping weird gods in Hyperborea because they're not true. They're
it's
not.
fantasy. It's
Yeah, it's 100% a fantasy. But when we start, and that again, the problem with Trench Crusade, when you start dragging real life shit into a game, don't be surprised that people take have real life feelings about what you're doing. And yeah, that's what they did. And it's too bad because I was very excited for that game.
I
It
was so
announced.
in on that game. I was so in on it.
Oh yeah, I even have a Prussian army. I've got the Prussian army. I've got the trench priest. I've got 2 Prussian tank cutters. I've got a pioneer, and then just random, Prussian dudes.
As far as the meta game went, I don't think they ever fixed it.
See,
When Heretic Legion is just top down the best. Like it's so just
I will tell you
unbalanced.
this. I played it one time, and the unit that the other team had that gave me the biggest problem were the locusts. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the pit locusts. That's
The pit locust. And this guy I was playing against had like 3 of them.
not
And they're like these giant kind
Black
of
Grail.
metallic bug things with like flaming crowns, and they can move really fast and they attack really good.
It's all about the mortar witch, man.
Oh yeah. As soon as your opponent gets the thing unlocked where they can have 3 of those, it's like, get out of here.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the artillery witch is just
Artillery witch. She
insane.
and the werewolf for clearing out debris and just
the
clearing
werewolf just run through the barbed wire and remove it. Like, no more
top
barbed
down
wire.
in the trench.
One that gave me a lot of problems, and I always would sick my snipers on immediately, was the chorister.
Mm-hmm.
The dude holding his own head up.
The one that they always fucking use just to hold an objective. They keep using him.
Yeah,
but they'll just sit him by an objective.
Within a certain range, it starts affecting your models and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy was not fun.
And then put your long range stuff on your heretic priest and just have him in cover, out of cover, in cover, out of cover.
Dude, I made an army, and I'm serious. I made this army. Never got to play it, but I'm pretty sure it couldn't be beat. It was a trench ghost army, and the leader of the trench ghost army was an actual tank.
They nerfed the crap out of the ghosts, though.
Yeah, it was an L something, the little German tank tractor. Because the trench ghost guy could be put on a Palanquin, which could be a tank. So I had all these trench ghosts and, the various other guys. It was mostly just trench ghosts, but the leader, though, being a tank, because he was like so many inches above ground level and shit, he couldn't be affected by a lot of stuff. And I mean, it was just, they needed to nerf that. Like, I knew as soon as I made that army that shit needed to be nerfed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the trench ghosts with melee was what everybody was complaining about.
Yeah, there was the one that's kind of big with weird long arms and nails that stealths. What was that called? The Goetic assassin or some shit.
It looks like a hunter from Left 4 Dead, kind of.
Yeah, and it would sneak right up on the enemy and just kill them. And it's like,
that's if Artillery Witch and Werewolf didn't already seal the deal. half the time. It's like the assassin just skirts around the field.
Yeah, he just flanks around looking for targets opportunity while the war witches are just, dropping AoEs all over the place.
Witches are just that right there, just like justified playing nothing else. Like everyone was like, "Oh, I'm gonna try this." Like, no, dude, you can't use the witch in this because she's technically, mechanical. She's a mech, and she's created, so you can't have her, etc. It's never sacrifice that. If you can use that model, use that model.
Dude, I've got so many like alternate sculpts of that young lady.
I had my favorite, which was a pain in the ass to get to a base. It was like the World War II pinup. Like she
Oh,
had a
where
foot in
she's
the
like
air.
sitting on the bomb.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I put a picture of that up in your Discord, and I was like, this thing looks like a penis. Should I paint it like a penis? And I got a resounding just no. Just don't do that.
Oh, that was you. I remember that.
That was me. I had just gotten that model, and I was like, it looks like a wiener.
The other figure I had like multiple sculpts of, though, was the chorister. I had the one that they showed, but I had a female one.
Oh, God, that
I
thing
had
was so
like all
annoying.
kinds of different choristers.
If there was an objective behind cover, they just sit that model there and just let it do work and hold an objective.
And then I had I made a warband devoted to lust, and I printed out like this super hot female demon, and then glued 4 sets of wings on her that were kind of rotten looking, and gave her a lash. I mean, that was why I loved that game so much, is it was like, just make shit. You know what I mean?
The kit bashing on the subreddit, some of those were just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I was just printing out all kinds of wild shit. Like I printed out all kinds of World War I tanks. I printed out the German L series. I've got a couple of the American M2 and M3s.
I bought so many of these little pieces of sushi and these cats that I was going to kit bash an entire warband out of, and I never got to.
Right.
And I just have little kitty cats and sushi and tons of 32 millimeter bases for no reason.
Yeah, I was kit bashing. I was being serious with my kit bashing. Like
Yeah,
I had like male and female English tanks. I had Whippets. I had German tanks. The little ones. I had Renaults. Like the French tanks, and I had gun positions. I have. They're still out in the garage. Gun positions, all the World War I artillery pieces, and then all kinds of. See, one thing I did is I just operated my printers to make parts. And then I went to War Game Atlantic and I bought a box of each of the World War I armies they had. So, and they
so
had
you were ready. Okay.
Yeah, they had the English, the Russians, the Americans, the Germans.
That's so sad. It is so sad that game had to go to shit.
I know, man.
The
but
itch
I
is
will
still
say
there.
this for that game. I had a ton of fun making the armies and the terrain and shit.
Watching the game
before
reports.
they ruined it, I was just having so much fun messing with that game,
It was cool.
It was just cool, And then when they said I couldn't have Americans, that's when I brought in those 1 Americans. And I painted them all up like that, the U.S. World War I, that weird kind of OD green-brown color.
Oh.
And the miniatures all had like an American star and then the rank on the other shoulder. And the banner bearer was carrying this American flag. And the officer, had the 45 pistol and a saber. And I showed that shit off on their Discord. And I was like, you guys can do what you want. But guess what? Over there, the Yanks are coming. And, and I just used the Antioch army list for them.
Man, Antioch had some really cool models too. Like,
well, they were like your generic good guy army. then they had like the sub units, like what were they? The Red Brotherhood or whatever, which was made up of people who had lost people. So they were all like, pretty serious dudes.
I think it's like all the meta players were like all the like competitive players were Heretic Legion or Trench Pilgrims.
Well, look here, man. Just the basic Heretic Legion guys. You could get some of the slaves just to fill out your chaff, then just basic troopers, whatever. And then you could get like 3 of the, what are they called? The Infernals or some shit? The big freaking warriors that carry flamethrowers and machine guns or just
Oh
demon
yeah,
weapons and shit.
you get 2 of those with the basic warband. Yeah.
Right. And those guys, their whole deal was they went to the gate and said, fuck it, and went in. That's how evil they were. They literally, and then
Typically they were backing up the werewolf.
right. And then you've got either a werewolf, you've got your demon lord, you can have your what they call it, the goetic priest or whatever with his freaking all of his demon bullshit. I mean, those armies
Just the basic out of the
highly
box.
blasphemous, but really neat. And you're right. The basic demon army was like good to go, man. It's like there was no wrong answer in that original army. But there was
depending on how many ducats you were starting with and everything, like the most you would ever throw in is
the
like
right answer was artillery witches, though, every time.
Yeah, always.
That was the right answer, no matter
and
what
if you were
playing.
doing a mercenary, get a sin eater.
Yeah, the big fat dudes.
Yeah,
with the mouths in their belly. If you want to be really disgusting, play the Plague Knights.
No, God, no.
Rifles that shot maggots at people.
Dude, the just about like the alternates of like the Black Grail and everything is where you start getting into the wacky mechanics, like the debuffing and all that. Oh gosh.
So yeah, the game
was top notch, man.
Even now, we're sitting here talking about how much we actually love that game.
But I ain't gonna play it. Fuck them.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna play it. Or if I do play it, I already have stuff. So it's like I'll play it, but I'm not involved with them in any way.
No.
They can kiss my ass,
No.
If I play it, it's because I want to play it at home with my friends, and I might even make up my own rules, and then they can kiss my ass.
If I ever do, it'll be completely kit bash proxy because I already sold all my actual models, the 3D printed ones. Yeah. I already hawked them.
And there is nothing wrong with that, my brother. You do that.
It was one of those get it out of my sight type things.
Like I said, if you're going to make a game, let's say you're one of those guys and you decide you want to make a game, you have to be really careful who you let be in charge of your freaking Discord and your forums and shit. Because that is their whole failure. And even if the guys who created the game were like these turbo lefty hated Christians guys or whatever, you would think that they would still be smart enough to keep their freaking mouth shut until they sold the product.
I mean, the members of the Discord are most of the time okay and really cool. Like they were really helpful early on.
A lot of them were really good, but the problem was the mods were absolutely
the mods
good.
Would actually ban people in that Discord and kick them out for saying, like, for even making the joke that it's just kind of like, yeah, 40K break. That's how it goes. But eventually we'll all quit this and go back to 40K. People like that were getting kicked.
Dude, I saw a dude get kicked one time, and when people were like, why'd you kick that dude? The mod was like vibes.
And oh, like, God. That sounds like him.
It's like, what? You kicked this guy because you didn't like his vibes. They kicked me. But, I mean, I kind of knew they would, though, because I rolled in there and told them they're idiots. So I deserve to be kicked. You know what I mean? Because if you roll into somebody's Discord and you tell them that basically everything they've done up to that point is dumb, then, yeah, don't be surprised. when they're like, yeah, we're going to go ahead and boot you out of here. And like I said, I think the thing that pissed them off the most was how many people were agreeing with me about how stupid they were.
Well, they got their comeuppance. They absolutely did. They've been having trouble with those official miniatures and people dropping the game.
Well, the official miniatures apparently suck. They don't
Oh
fit
God, yeah.
together right. They're just like terrible.
Some of them, the scale's completely wrong. Like some guy ordered like a complete box of them. He was just like, they're scaled completely wrong.
Well,
I was like, that's kind of the biggest deal right there is scale.
you would think, you're playing a game, it's a certain scale, you'd think that they'd know. But like we were saying, the game started, and I know you know this. The lore behind the game is there was this artist, and he was doing all this kind of cool World War I shit with crosses everywhere and all that. And that guy, some other guys were like, dude, we should make a game based on the art of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure that it ever started out like as a professional thing. I think it started out as just some dudes with some really cool art thinking they were going to make something. But then they allowed other people involved on the scene to basically cut their legs out from under them.
Yeah, that one dude was like, it was, I think 8 years, he said, in development, the game was.
Right. Which really what it was is 8 years of that dude making art. Which is awesome. Because like I said, I liked a lot of the art. Like the trenches and the big like cross and like, all the gun position. I mean, it was neat freaking art. It really was.
Of course, you had the other half of the war game community being like, oh, look at this, another grim dark setting. Yay, don't care.
Well, they actually, and they still could do this if they pull their head out of their asses. They could be in a position to pick up a lot of people that Games Workshop's just pissing off.
They could, but
will they? I don't know. And
I
as it is
it.
now, you know who's benefiting more than anyone? BattleTech.
Oh, for sure.
Like in my area, for like all of the 90s and most of the 2000s, we never had a single BattleTech game or tournament in any local game store. This last 5 years, there's been Alpha Strike and BattleTech tournaments in all of them. All of a sudden, BattleTech is the shit, and people were playing it like a lot.
It is a fine alternative.
And yeah.
I mean, it's not the same. It's not an exact replacement, but I mean, it'll definitely scratch the itch. It's just.
Well, I mean, if you want to paint some miniatures and just get together with homeboys and play a game, it'll work just fine.
It'll work.
And then the thing is this, though. Alpha Strike allows you to play big games quick. I know a lot of people, including my brother, they're not fans of Alpha Strike. But I've played some company-on-company engagements, combined armed engagements with Alpha Strike, and it very much feels like 40K. It really does. You move lances and you do stuff,
but does it feel like Trench Crusade?
That tell you how much damage you can take, and so is it. My brother, he's more of the we're just playing a lance on lance classic rules, and I'm like, okay, I'll do that, but I don't mind Alpha Strike. I thought I'd hate it. Now I'm like, it's okay.
Have you heard
of an alternative? It's a thing you can do.
Have you heard of Devilry Afoot?
I have not.
You might want to check that one out if you've never looked at it.
Well, the game I kind of wanted people here to get into, and of course none of them did, was Baron's War.
That one actually did look cool.
It's kind of a skirmish war game set in the time that King John was being such a dick that they made him sign the Magna Carta. So when you make your game, you get X amount of gold and you've got your lord, and then you can buy like knights and mercenary. Well, they call them sergeants, which I guess back in the old days, in old Norman, sergeant meant servant. So, you know, they weren't actually sergeants; they were just the actual trained warriors in an army. And then you can get peasants, and you can make your retinue. So, like, I've got some like monks carrying crosses and stuff because you can add monks and banner bears and all this to your retinue, and they cost money, but they do things like with morale and extending your leadership and everything like that. So, and the game itself is really simple. And,
I was really digging it though. I was digging your streams where you were talking about it, going into more like the detail, the mechanics, and everything, and the box for what it is. I mean, you get a lot.
And the
It
other
looked like
thing, they haven't reprinted the Outrimer book yet for this edition, but you can still get it for the earlier edition. And it gives you all the army lists you would need to play Crusades, including Eastern Rome, the various crusading organizations, the various Turks and Arabs they fought against. And that's why I bought King Baldwin, King of Jerusalem, the miniature, and painted him, because I'm like, I will take this guy as my leader, right? And have a banner bear with the Jerusalem cross and roll out, right? And I have him on foot and on horse. So, and I've showed him to you, I'm sure, but got my King Baldwin. But I've also got a box over here. Oh, I put it up already of like just order knights. They can be Templars or Hospitallers or whatever. And right here, that's a bottle of Byzantine cataphracts. That's a box of Byzantine cataphracts. So if I want to go hard in the paint with Nicene Byzantines, I can do that. And that would be pretty much dead on for that era. Roll out with a bunch of. As a matter of fact, with the Byzantines, you can make an army where it's entirely mounted. Because your general can be mounted. Everyone else can be mounted. You can have cataphracts, and then for your like sergeants, you can have mounted horse archers. So you don't even have to have a single guy on foot, but it's a very small army.
how's archery handled?
I like it okay. It's you determine range, you determine if there's anything in the way. It's a die 10, and
Okay.
depending on, because the thing is the two kinds of archer, well, three kind of archers you can have is like you can have your peasant levies, you can have professional archers, and then you can have like knight quality archers. And depending on the army you're playing, you can have like mercenary crossbowmen, like Genovese crossbowmen, and like these really skilled units of crossbowmen and shit. And they are deadly. I mean, a crossbow in this game is like, oh, you got armor? Huh. You know what I mean? It's like, nice. Let's see how that armor works for you. Oh, it's not going to. Because, I mean, in this period, chainmail is really the main thing.
Yeah.
And, a freaking big ass crossbow go right through some chainmail like you ain't even wearing it.
That's always one of my biggest concerns about games like that, and especially with that era, is how is archery handled? Because there are some it's just shit.
This one, it's pretty good. Like I said, you measure out range to the target. You see if there's anything in the way, and then that gives you what you need to roll on a die 10. And you roll it out. And then there's no roll to wound, but there is an armor roll. So they got rid of that roll to wound bullshit from 40K. If you hit somebody, it's assumed if their armor don't stop it, they're in trouble. The game does go a little bit heavier than 40K into like morale states. You know, like you can have units that are at various levels of morale, you know, between shaken, broken, routed, you know, stuff like that. And that's one way you can actually win the game is you can rout your opponent's army off the table if you hit them right. So yeah, if your opponent's got a lot of archers, your best bet is to use terrain and just try to close because typically, unless they're like those highly skilled mercenaries I was talking about, they are
Hmm.
going to suck in hand-to-hand combat. So if you can get a unit of sergeants or knights up on them, yeah, that's going to be the end of them, right? But then again, some of the high-end mercenary guys, like those Genovese crossbowmen,
Yeah, yeah.
they actually fight. You know what I mean? So not only will they crossbow you, but if you run up on them, they will pull their hand axes out and go to town. So that's something. And so, I mean, as a representation of 13th century English warfare, it's really good. As a representation of like 10th, 11th century Crusader, whatever, it's really good. You know, it does it
It's-
really well, but it really is a dude and a retinue. And the size of your army is determined by, like Trench Crusade, as we were talking about, it's just like how many points are you playing, you know? You could play a big ass army, you know, points wise, and have a dude show up with like a whole unit of knights and levies all over the place and whatever. I mean, you could do that, but the game is really designed for scenarios. So, you know, there's a lot of scenarios where you want to take over a monastery or a castle or a tower, you know, like a border fort or some shit, and your opponent wants to not lose it. And when you make your army, you choose whether you're loyal to King John or not, and that can actually determine stuff too, you know. So yeah, like when I was talking to Tim, one of the armies in the book are the Pilkington family, and he's a Pilkington, so he could, if he played Barons War, he could literally make an army based on his name anyway.
I mean, it's got really good reviews. I'm looking at on here. It's
Well, I mean, the one thing is, if you're not trying to get super whatever with it, the starter box is all you need. I mean, it
yeah, but
it
we
is
all know that that's not possible. That is impossible. I bought the box set. I'm done.
right.
That never works. It never happens. Oh, that is the gateway. That is just your first hit. That's your first high.
Well,
It's
you're kind of right, except you're thinking 40K, and this is historical wargaming, and historical wargaming does not work like 40K
no, it doesn't. But still, there's going to be a
unless it's
different
warlord
pose,
games.
a different sculpt. There's going to be. I need more of these just
Oh
because.
yeah. I get what you're saying. I misunderstood. Yeah, it's like I told you about Mech Warrior. You really only need four mechs. You'll
Yeah,
buy 100 though by the time you're done.
but
I
there's
mean,
so many,
right.
and
But
they're
you
all
could
so
pick your
cool.
favorite four mechs in the points range that you want to play in, and never buy a single another mech again in your life. You won't. I can guarantee you won't, but you could. Not only are there so many, but if you're like me, you end up buying multiples of the Griffin, so you can paint them up all, you know,
I
have
don't
four
have
different
them.
Griffins all pointed different freaking.
Damn it, that pisses me. A box set. I had a Griffin. I don't have a Griffin.
Didn't you get the basic set? I thought that came
Yes,
with a Griffin.
absolutely did, but it does not contain a Griffin.
Oh, the new basic set comes with the freaking Vindicator and a Rifleman or some shit, doesn't it?
It has the Griffin card, just not the Griffin miniature.
Right, because instead you get a Vindicator and a Rifleman. Well, let me tell you something. Not really a Merrick mech, the Vindicator. It's a Lao mech, but it's good. It's a good mech. It's one of the more effective mechs from 3025. The Rifleman is really a piece of shit, but I guess if you use it right, you might be able to pull something off. But the problem with the Rifleman is it doesn't have very much armor and it has a shit ton of ammo. And it'll overheat like nobody's business if you even look at it wrong. So, you know, double jeopardy on that bastard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's either going to overheat or somebody's going to crack the armor and blow that bitch up. And then
You were talking about that before. You were talking about double heat sinks just ruining games.
Well, the problem with the double heat sink is it tuck away any tactical like skill required. Because if you play just straight up basic 3025, right? The mechs were designed purposely to not be 100% efficient. So, depending on what mechs you take, they all have their own little, quibbles, or whatever, eccentricities, whatever you want to call it, right? So, it actually made the game more fun because it turned into, do you actually know how to use this piece of equipment in the game correctly? And a lot of it was like simple stuff, like if you're going to play an awesome with the 3 PPCs, just you fire 2, then 3, then 2, then 3. Don't bother walking because, I mean, you don't move fast enough to give your opponent a penalty to hit you. So if you walk, it only affects you. It doesn't make you harder to hit. So with the awesome, your best bet is to hide in some terrain and just freaking gun the shit out of anything that comes in range of your PPCs. And in order to not overheat, you just fire 2, then 3, then 2, then 3, and kind of rotate out like that.
James, I have a side question. I'm sorry, completely off topic.
We're not on the topic.
Well, we kind of were. We're talking about BattleTech. But anyway, have you started your Appalachian Call of Cthulhu module yet?
No, nope.
Okay.
But I mean, it's in my head and it's complete. I just haven't put it down on paper.
Okay.
Luckily, I've got 360 where I can just talk to my computer and it types or writes whatever I say to it. So it's just a matter of whenever I get bored, me just sitting down and tell my computer what's in my head. But yeah, it's Shub-Niggurath, and it's a whole cult, and they're a bunch of inbred bastards live in a holler, and the local diner serves human flesh.
Why are you telling me about it?
Oh, I mean, okay, sorry.
I mean, well, continue. I mean, go. Cat's out of the bag.
The way the adventure actually starts is someone sent into the area, think like the song catcher, finds a artifact that's definitely out of time and place. They bring it back up to Miskatonic, and the player characters, who are for the most part involved with Miskatonic somehow, decide to go down to Corey, Kentucky to figure out what's up. And of course, all the people in the town absolutely hate them, but they are not mean. They're just really unfriendly, like standoffish, kind of get out of here, you guys, kind of thing.
Just bothered.
And then as the game goes on, that's when they're going to find out through investigation that in the 1700s, a band of people were ran out of New England and they settled in that holler and they brought like old ways with them. So they've been down there since, that time doing shit. And then it'll go on from there. And I've already got a couple of the Dark Young, and I've got a bunch of cultists dancing around naked. Part of their ritual is during like certain times a year, Beltane and Samhain, they all get together under the supervision of the Dark Young, and they have like these big orgiastic rituals.
Bakian.
And then any children that are conceived during the rituals are killed during the next ritual and ate, consumed. Um, so, I mean, it's a pretty dark thing that I'm talking about. Of course, any children conceived during the ritual are basically incest, products of incest.
So, like mutated.
Possibly full of all kinds of congenital illnesses,
Well, they're going to be eaten anyway, so
but they get eaten anyway, right?
and served up as the diner's blue plate,
No,
purportedly.
no, the children are always stewed in a big pot during the ritual. And
Oh,
they all eat it, and then some of them, the really blessed ones, also get to drink some of the milk of Shub-Niggurath,
oh,
which does mutate them and turn them into monsters. So a lot of Appalachian monsters, cryptids, are actually just these assholes that have been changed by
oh!
drinking
That's a clever tie-in.
the
That's a
milk
good
of
one.
Shub-Niggurath. Yeah, so if you run into, like, there is a part of the adventure where you run into a dog man, but it's not a dog man. It's one of these cultists that got turned into a dog man. Because that's what the milk of Shub-Niggurath can do. It mutates you, it heals you, it turns you into monsters. And so I've got all the cultists that are dancing around. The women are all naked and being lewd, and the men are naked and being lewd. I've got all the miniatures for it. I've actually got Shub-Niggurath, the miniature for her, but she's never going to be used. However, the Dark Young, like right here, I've got the Dark Young.
Yep, the Reaper Dark Young.
That is the Reaper Dark Young. And
Yep.
I have a 3D printed Dark Young that's even a little cooler
Yeah,
than this.
used to have some Reaper Dark Young, but Puppy Dog got a hold of it, and
Puppy dog.
there was no fixing that.
And then, of course, if I wanted, but I'm not going to use like Nyarlathotep, I have the Crimson Tongue.
That one's cool.
But I mean, I've got a box down here, and it's a lot of my Call of Cthulhu figures, so Chthonians and stuff. But because I've bought everything, like I said, for second edition Mansions of Madness, including the 1.5 kind of transitional box set to go from first to second edition. And I've got every one of those boxes came with like 80 Cthulhu miniatures, So I've got like Cthulhu, I've got cultists and wizards and weird priests and druids. And the thing is, the cult of Shub-Niggurath is basically druids. They're druidic in nature. So in Hyperborea, it's the cult of Yonde, the horned god or goddess. Actually, goddess Yonde, the horned goddess, is really the black goat, and they do a lot of the same rituals and everything. And the cultists of Yonde absolutely despise the cultists of Sithagwa. So there's and that's part of the lore. That's not me just making shit up, like putting the Cats of Ulthar in Cormarium. It is a part of the lore that the cult of Yonde does not like the cult of the Sagwa. And they're constantly duking it out, Of course, on the DL, because if they start murdering each other on the streets of Comorium, then the oligarchs of Comorium are going to be like, what are you assholes up to here, right? And right now, I think the chief oligarch is a merchant, because you basically in Comorium, you've got like 12 oligarchs, and once a year they elect the leader, and it's almost always from their number. So yeah, it's pretty much oligarchs.
Well, I think you need to start writing that, Mr. James. I think you need to flesh that out
Yeah,
personally.
the thing is, I don't think I could ever sell it. That's a
I think,
thing.
oh
Because
man, with half the
way
crap,
too dark to
you
ever.
sure you absolutely could. You just put 18 plus on it. Done.
Maybe so.
Absolutely, you
I
absolutely
appreciate your
could.
faith anyway, man.
No, you could do that. You absolutely could do that. Well, I mean, I kind of hate that it's spoiled for me now. I mean, but oh
Well,
well.
here's the thing though: if you ever run it or whatever, you can just change stuff around.
No, I'd keep it as is. I'd be more interested to see your see how you flesh out like any township or community within there. You know,
Yep.
because you're
Well,
definitely
another
gonna pour
thing.
like
Go ahead. I'm
I
sorry.
say you're most definitely going to pour like not only your own experiences, your own memories, your own vision of it, but you're going to put people that you have known. It's unavoidable.
Well, archetypes, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. You know, the old guy that's always walking down the street mumbling to himself. He'll be there. You know, families that used to be rich and aren't rich anymore and always act a little weird. Yeah, he'll be there.
And the cryptid, the local legend lore cryptid tie-in of those who have drank milk of the mother. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing from second edition Call of Cthulhu. The
Is it?
milk of the mother type thing. Even though that was supposed to have like laudanum in it or something. I don't remember.
I actually took that from the adventure book for Call of Cthulhu, Mansions of Madness, the one that comes with all the short adventures. And then
Uh-huh.
there's another one called Peterson's Adventures. Okay, it's about time for me. My camera's letting me know. But there's another one called Sandy Peterson's Adventures. And one of the adventures, this pharmaceutical company is trying to sell this medication that they say cures like all kinds of shit.
Oh, snake
It's
oil.
milk of Shubniggara. So you take it and your cancer gets cured, but then 2 days later you turn into a monster and you know go on a rampage. And people are like, "What the f?" And yeah, so that's a thing, right? So this is my base coat for. Oh, you can't see it because my
Nope.
camera's
Nope.
jacking up.
Went dark.
Well, I think what happens is because I don't have the fans underneath it turned on. I think what happens is that after a certain period of time, the graphics card just gets hot and decides that it's time to turn the camera off. Which for me is cool because it basically lets me know that, okay, I've probably been streaming long enough.
Yeah.
So I will
Oh,
catch you later, brother.
yes, sir. It was good yakking with you.
Oh, yeah, I always love having you on. I will chat with you later.
All right, man. Have a good one.